On July 17, 1981, the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri, was hosting a tea dance. On that summer evening, hundreds of partygoers gathered in and around the hotel. The 40-story hotel had opened the previous summer and was then looked upon as the jewel of the Crown Center development. Around 7 p.m., as the night was just beginning, the hotel's lobby was its defining feature, with the multi-story atrium spanned by elevated walkways suspended from the ceiling that were built and designed to appear as if they were floating. The walkways were about 120 feet long and weighed an estimated 64,000 pounds. On the second level walkway were about 40 people, with more on the third level and an additional 20 on the fourth level, which was suspended above the second level, with the third level offset adjacent to the others. As the dance commenced, guests started hearing a popping and cracking noise. The floor suddenly lowered 3 inches before a sickening large tearing sound followed by a thunderous rumble sound emanated throughout the building. The fourth level walkway had just succumbed to the weight of the people on the bridge and fell down in its entirety towards the top of the second level walkway, crushing everyone on top before both walkways came hurtling towards the crowded lobby floor below. A diner at the 42nd floor revolving restaurant on top said it felt like an explosion. The sounds of terrible screams and people yelling could be heard coming from every direction. A rescue operation quickly started through the dust and debris, the rubble that once was a sign of opulence. Tons of glass, concrete, and steel had fell hundreds of feet, and walls had to be knocked down to allow cranes and booms to lift the tens of thousands of pounds of destroyed material to start looking for survivors. The late hours were darkened as the power had been cut off to prevent fires. Through the thick smoke, hundreds and hundreds of workers and volunteers climbed through the twisted debris in hope of finding any survivors. In total, 114 people were killed, 216 injured, 29 of whom were rescued from the rubble. So the question remains, how did this disaster happen? 10 months after the deadly accident, the National Bureau of Standards released their findings, and their investigations uncovered a perfect storm of design flaws, construction errors, and inadequate safety measures had led to the devastating consequences that cost 114 people their lives. As people were on the fourth level atrium bridge, little did they know that it had slowly started to sag because of the way the hanger rods were arranged. 6 hanger rods on each skywalk hung through sets of C-shaped channels that were welded together to create a box beam. On the bottom of each rod was a small nut and washer. Together, these pieces of metal were supporting 72 tons of weight between the second and fourth floor skywalks. Architect Jack Gillum and head engineer Dan Duncan both lost their licenses. However, no criminal charges were filed, but dozens of lawsuits were. Many were settled out of court. Here we are at the scene of the disaster. Let's take a quick look inside and see what it looks like. I'm just curious to see, considering 40 years have passed since 112 people lost their lives. I'm currently in the lobby where the collapse happened, and I talked to one or two of the employees, and one of them said that their boss told them that they weren't allowed to talk about it, but it basically happened right here. I really do need to start dressing better when I do these videos, because I come across as some bum when I'm asking them, hey, do you know where this collapse happened, or whatever. But basically I'm at where it happened. There's no memorial, there's no indication of that anything happened. I'm pretty sure all the employees that work here, they have talked about it amongst themselves. You got a guy right over here, he's wearing some kind of bow tie. He is kind of looking at me a little bit funny. Not sure why. It's probably because I look like I'm dressed to repair your car or work out or something like that. So anyways, I'm gonna get out of here because basically the story here is pretty much done. We are gonna go visit the grave of two of the 112 victims of this terrible tragedy. This is the Mount Moriah Cemetery here in Kansas City on this warm afternoon here in June. A terrible, terrible accident. And this is the grave of the Jeters. Only married 2 weeks. When I think of these stories, I mean, I always try to put myself there. Can you imagine the sound that they heard when that thing was collapsing, the floor beneath them? I mean, a surreal feeling I guess I would be experiencing if that happened to me. And just the sound and the people screaming, and terrible. Rest in peace to Eugene and Karen Jeter. All right, guys. I'm out of here, hitting the road. Where I'll stop, no one knows. I'll catch up with you later. Peace out.